していてくれ。わかりました。
ジョルノ君だっけ？立ってるのもなんだから座んなよ。さあ飲みなよ。
For reals, who's coming up with the ideas of these trials? Can we just give Giorno a break? Because I don't... God knows what the next trial is going to be, for crying out loud. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, guys. Welcome to Chris is Talking, and this is going to be a review on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Golden Wind episode 5, Finding Polpos' Fortune. Now, first of all, this series has no chill when it comes with the whole trial system and trying to get Giorno to prove his worthiness. Is this what we're going to go with? Prove his worth. And Giorno, he's one quick thinking motherfucker, and that's not just Giorno's aspect. This is clearly a JoJo's a JoJo thing. Every JoJo has had a part of them that can outthink and outwit, whether it be a villain, whether it be just a general antagonist. And man, what is his name? Leone needs to chill, bro. Like when we saw that scene when he got the kettle pot and then he put it towards his hip, I was thinking, all right, what's that? And we see a green liquid. I'm thinking, that's not what I think it is. That's not what I think it is. And then it was what I thought it was, and I was like, oh fuck, how is he going to get out of this? And once again, the creator of this series knows how to think outside of the box. And the reason why I'm saying this is because how is my man going to have a jellyfish on his tooth to basically turn the piss into water? I don't know the science behind it, but what I can tell is, ew. Just ew. And then this also leads me to kind of question, how far does Giorno's ability go? Because I know that he has a overpowering ability, because so many people in the JoJo community talk about how OP Giorno is. But I don't know whether that's the Giorno in this series, or whether through spoilers, the Giorno in the later on Giorno, which I've heard about, Golden Experience Requiem. I don't know what that is, but I've heard through the grapevines amazing things. One thing I also liked about this episode is it starts off with a nice amount of world building. I say world building because of we understand more about the whole Passione organization and how the gangs work, and that and what Polpos' position was in the whole organization, because I foolishly said that Polpo was the main boss, and I think it was in the second episode or the third episode second or third episode when we see Polpo for the first time in my review, which thanks to you guys who are watching my reviews. I foolishly said that I think Polpo was the boss. I can't believe that the boss is in a prison. And one of my viewers actually said to me in a comment that he's not the main boss, he's a capos. But I don't really understand what the hell any of that mean. I don't speak Italian, first of all. Secondly, I'm not versed in the whole gang member stuff, so I don't know where he was, but he seemed like a pretty OP guy to me. And his Black Sabbath stand was quite a madness. So I'm not gonna apologize for getting it totally wrong, but I am gonna apologize for myself for looking like a fool on camera. But then that being said, there's not that much of a change. Alright, so what was also pretty cool is this episode pretty much focused on trust. And I say trust because the whole trust idea gets brought up with the fact that Polpo trusted Bruno Bucciarati to basically hide his 5 billion lira fortune, which is over $970,000, which is $1 million, which is fucking crazy. That in itself is crazy. So basically that is hidden somewhere, and Polpo trusted Bruno Bucciarati, or Bucciarati Bruno, to hide that for him, and obviously he couldn't because Polpo was a fat bastard. So, and I say that in a sense of that for how big he was. Like my man covered the whole screen. You don't get bigger than that in the real world. So yes, in context, he was pretty fat. So I like the fact that that was also brought up because, like, if he did have it, where would he hide it? How would he hide it? How would nobody notice this really big person moving around with so much money? So much so that it couldn't be hidden in a bank. And I like that. And I like that we got this bit of exposition through these two gang members that were in a car and how they're just cruising around. And the guy that's driving clearly gives no fucks about his well-being or anybody else's well-being on the street. And I just like that kind of the way that they brought it up, and how the second that this other random gang member brought up the information that it could be Bruno, that it could be in Naples, and all this kind of information, the guy just dipped and literally started ghost riding the whip like there was nothing about it. And I thought that was really hilarious. So yeah, so that whole trust part was brought up there. Then the other trust part I thought was pretty cool and important as well was that once Giorno joined Bruno's gang, who consisted of like quite an interesting bunch. I don't know whether they introduced the names, but I have it on my screen right here. The guy that pissed in a pot to basically see whether I think, well, yeah, to see whether Giorno was going to drink it. I think it was also not only to see whether he can trust him, but to possibly make Giorno use his stand ability. And that was also something that was with the whole trust thing, because no matter how crazy the situation got when everyone started getting kidnapped, at the very end, no one was showing their stand abilities. And that Leone guy, he didn't want to show his stand ability, even though Bruno said, I feel like your stand ability could be very good for this. Leone did not trust in Giorno enough, because he's like, well, and clearly he shouldn't trust him because you just met the guy. So I think that's also a reason why they're such a good group, and also that not everyone in all the organization actually even has a stand ability. So I thought that was also something pretty important as well. So yeah, so trust, I would say, is the main thing that ties the situations and the events happening in this episode together. And I think that that's something that is going to be brought into the next episode. And because Giorno just basically threw himself towards the danger, because he did the whole tooth flying towards its owner thing that we saw in episode 2, which he did first with Bruno. I like that. I like that Giorno brought that back up again, because you don't really want to be seeing abilities and get forgotten about, which is something that the mangaka or JoJo kind of did in part 1 with Dio's first abilities. But let's not go into that. So yeah, so that was this episode. I personally liked it. This was more of a setup episode to then have not our main villain, but our villain for next week's episode, which we saw it had some tentacle octopus kind of legs as well, which grabbed Giorno. And I think this is where we're now going to see Leone's stand ability and how he's going to defeat him, because it ends with literally Leone just looking like a boss. We did get a bit of interaction between some small character who's 2 years older than Giorno, and his name was, what's his name again here? I don't know. No, not Mr. So his name was Nancia, but I don't know. We didn't really get his name introduced that much. He was like more of a side character, but he was being taught how to read and write, and how to do maths by another character called Fugo, and we get another guy called Mister. So these other characters, they weren't that important in this episode, but because they're part of Bruno's gang, they're clearly going to be important in future episodes. So what I want to know from you guys is, what did you guys think of this episode? And if somebody joined your group, would you immediately be showing off your abilities, your secrets, like anybody else? And do you think that Leone did the right thing by kind of testing Giorno, even though the test was a bit much? Because I'm like, bro, if someone gave me a fucking cup with piss in it, I'd be like, what are you doing, mate? I would shove it in their face. So I'm glad that we got that nice kind of interaction between all the different characters, the new characters, as well as how Giorno joining the gang and defeating Polpos in the last episode has affected this series. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you do like JoJo videos, then please do subscribe, turn on that notification button, bell, wherever it is as well, so then you will be notified for whenever I make my JoJo videos. It's usually between the first 2 days of JoJo being out, so it's between the Friday and the Monday. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and you return for future videos from myself, Otsuku Chris is talking. Man, I hope what the fuck is gonna happen next episode? I hope Giorno's okay and the other guys are alright. They probably are, but you know, it is what it is. Peace.